All right, folks, welcome in to another episode of Off the Edge. It's week 11. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. He is Cameron Lynch because, of course, we are back for another jam-packed week. And Cam, when I was going over, the games this week, I got excited, man. There are a lot of games I would call premier games. We're getting one of the primetime games you could say is good. The other one's not so much. Lions, Eagles, Sunday Night Football better be, right? Because there are games like the Seahawks and Rams game that we're going to get to that's not in primetime. Not even with the number one broadcasting crew, okay? And not Tom Brady, not KB. So
they allow the Jets and Patriots to be primetime, Jake?
Well, I don't have an issue with that because that's Thursday night. I think everybody gets Thursday night games. The Monday Night Football game. Are we kidding ourselves? Cowboys, Raiders.
Come on, fam.
Yeah.
Come on. It's Jerry Jones. You know what I mean? Jerry. He gets all the clout. He's the number one finance team in the league. So hey, give him a shine. But hopefully next year they'll change that up.
It'd be like that, man. Well, let's get right into it. We had an interesting week of top performers. Cam more than myself. I'm just going to take credit for Jackson Dart. He had 308 total yards. And keep in mind, that was not a full game. He got concussed and left the game. 2 rushing touchdowns against Chicago. Brian Daboll was fired, and rightfully so. I really did not like the way that they used Jackson Dart, kind of throwing him in there to kind of save his job. I don't know if he's going to get another head coaching job after that because everyone saw it. It's not like it's not common knowledge. We could all see Jackson Dart was just being thrown into the fire, and he was just running for his life and making plays. I mean, he played very well, but yeah. Then you had Jared Goff, Cam.
Yeah, I did. Jared balled out, Jake. And sorry, really quick to go back to the Giants with Jackson Dart. He played really well. It reminded me of Josh Allen a little bit, where he's using his legs, he's running around, but then he gets dinged up a little bit and he's limping. And it's like, all right, let's focus on next year, maybe when he gets back, to minimize the rushes and rely on his legs, rely on his arm, and change that whole process up. So Josh Allen went through that, did good with his legs, then had a transition with Daboll. Hopefully he can, go to college somewhere or serve as a coordinator and then work his way back up. But yeah, it just wasn't great. Scatterboo, he had a concussion. Dart had a concussion. So it just, the way that they're doing things on offense, they may have to change that. But going to Jared Goff, like you mentioned, Jake, he's finally started to come out of the fog a little bit, right? Threw for 320 yards for 3 touchdowns against the Commanders, who weren't really worth a lick. It's actually sad to see that defense kind of break down. Jahmyr Gibbs was running untouched out there. He reminded me of like a Alvin Kamara, but just even faster. I mean, he was not touched. He was moving really well. But Jared Goff finally stepping back into his bright spot and having a lackluster week 7, and just having I don't want to say a dip this year, but finally coming out on top.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a disappointing look for the Commanders because, you have that second year. I think people thought the sophomore slump was coming. I for certain did, but I didn't see them dealing with all this. They have so many injuries. They have suspensions. I mean, it's not great. So, they're in a tough spot there. You had Drake London going for 6 catches, 104 yards, and a touchdown. So, he was one of the top performers. And then you had Josh Sweat, who won 25% of his pass rushes and had a sack. Not quite the 11 pressures that he had the other day, but he was good in that game. And, the Seahawks game, it kind of got out of reach, wicked early on. But that dude, continued to play till the final whistle. So you got to give him props because, a game where you're getting blown out, but in reality, it's not entirely your fault because the defense is just totally, kind of back against the wall the whole game. I mean, you had the same guy strip sack Jacoby Brissett twice.
Yeah.
And
4 touchdowns.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns. So it really put them in kind of a tough spot. Turnovers, you flip the field, it puts the defense, their back is literally against the wall, end zone right behind them. And then when you give up touchdowns, it's like defense, the casual fan's going to look and be like, oh, the defense gave up those points. But in reality, they didn't. It was kind of the offense. So, yeah, that's what we had. But let's get into the top performers, Cam. I'm going to go with Joe Flacco at quarterback, taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a tough one for me because, there were some names. Josh Allen against the Bucs. I really like that matchup. And I do like Stafford against Seattle. I just do. They're 5-0 against Seattle. We'll get more into that game, but I went with Joe Flacco because Flacco's been on a tear. His first game with the Bengals was against the Steelers. Won that game, played well in that game. The one caveat that I'm a little worried about and why I feel like if this doesn't hit as a top performer, this is why. All three of those games, Cam, which he played well, were all at home. This is in Pittsburgh. So I do expect that Joe Flacco is going to go off because the Steelers' defense right now looks terrible. You can throw all over them. Passing-wise, they're terrible right now. Joe Flacco is throwing to T. Higgins. He's throwing to Jamar Chase. He's got Noah Fant at tight end. He's got Yasovich, however you say his name, the other wide receiver. It's just right now there's just so much going in Joe Flacco's way, and you just find out that Joe Burrow is being activated off IR. The window has started. Your time is running out to do what you do, put on tape what you're going to put on tape, and he's going to take over. It doesn't matter how well you're playing, he's going to take over. So why not make the most of it? You're 40. This could be your last year in the NFL. I'm expecting Joe Flacco to go on an absolute, burner in this one. I wouldn't be surprised if he throws for 400 yards. So he's my top performer at quarterback.
I like that. Joe Flacco is Mike Tomlin's kryptonite at this point. I think when he was traded, Mike Tomlin was like, hey, why are you trading Joe Flacco within the division? Like that's not good for folks. So Joe Flacco, the boogeyman for a lot of people. And to be honest, the Saints could use him, right? And so if Joe Burrow comes back, go ahead and send him to the Saints so they can find some way to win the football games. But that is me talking about the NFC South. Going back to the NFC South with Drake London, Jake, I mean, like I mentioned, I think he's one of the better receivers in football. He has been lighting things up when it comes against the Panthers, the Colts. I mean, he's been showing out. And then going to the Josh Sweat piece, Arizona Cardinals, like you mentioned, the Seahawks were dominating on defense. And so for him to find some way to dominate as well was important. Had a forced fumble recovery. And against the Cowboys, like a reason why I put him up on this last week's is because during the Cowboys, I couldn't even find Dak Prescott. He was smothered by Josh Sweat the whole game. And so this week, someone who I mentioned who is one of the best players in football, I think as well, Devon Achane. Jake, I mean, he absolutely went off against the Billies. The Billies, it was the Thursday night football game, Jake. I mentioned it like, hey, this is a skip. But then after we watched the game, we were like, okay, the Dolphins are here. And of course, they beat them this past week. Devon going for, I think, 174 rushing yards with 22 carries and 2 touchdowns. And some receiving yards as well. He's a tough son of a gun, running scot-free down the football field, and he might be the fastest player in football with Tyreek Hill out. So just the way that he's moving that offense is really impressive, and that defense doing a good job of taking care of the Bills. But that's my running back here, Jake, for this week at top performer.
So you got Achane. I'm gonna go with Josh Jacobs against the Giants. Nice. The Giants just give up tons of yards. They made Christian McCaffrey look like he was actually a good running back again. So, because he's a great receiver, but he can't run the football anymore unless it's against the Giants defense.
Yeah, he's getting better as a receiver. Yeah, he's starting to transition a little bit.
Yeah, so Josh Jacobs, hold on to your seats, folks. This is you probably don't even know this. Josh Jacobs does not have a 100-yard rushing game this year. How?
Yeah, he was leading the league. He was at the Raiders. Yeah.
Crazy. Well, he'll get it this week. This will be the week where his fortune's turned back around. So give me Josh Jacobs, 2 touchdowns, 120 yards on the ground, 120 plus. And 2 touchdowns, and he'll get some action in the receiving game as well. But the Packers are coming off the worst way to lose a game. It was ugly. They lose 10-7. You had a chance to tie the game up. Sucks. So go out there and beat the Giants into oblivion.
And that game was boring as hell, Jake. I mean, I looked at like halftime and it was 0-0. So that game was tough to watch. And going back to the Commanders, I talking about Devon Achane. He's going to be playing the Commanders and he's going to go off against them. The other person I have, Jake, on my list is at quarterback. Top performer this week is Dak Prescott. He has to revive himself a little bit. He's had a couple rough goes at it. Like I mentioned, the Cardinals, Josh Sweat was all over him. Had a bye week, thankfully, so hopefully he has time to regroup and refresh. They have the Raiders coming up. So CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, they should go off. They should find ways to get the football. Like I said, I have him starting this week on my fantasy. So I have him and Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford's going against the Seahawks. So, and I know Matthew's looking like an MVP right now, Jake, but I'm going to go ahead and put Dak Prescott in so he can torch the Raiders, and I think we'll be all good there. He'll have to stay away from Max Crosby, but I got Dak Prescott as my top performer this week at quarterback.
No, I like that. You know, I'm a huge Dak fan. Not sure what's going on with the Cowboys. Feels like they kind of lost some momentum in that offense. And there hasn't really been injuries. If anything, like guys are coming back. CeeDee Lamb came back. The guy that they acquired, Jonathan Mingo, last year at the deadline, you know, he came back. So it is a little weird right now for the Cowboys. They haven't quite. I think it's since that Broncos game they've been kind of off. You know, so they got to.
Yeah, the Broncos cracked the code on them.
Yeah, this has to be a get right game for them, or they got no chance. And they already have a very slim chance of even making the playoffs, but they have no chance if they lose to the Raiders.
And they beefed up that defensive line though with Quinnen and Logan. So hopefully they can provide some pressure on Geno, and Geno can throw some interceptions. You know what I mean, to the Cowboys, and they can make do. But I got the Cowboys winning that one for sure.
So at wide receiver, it was tough for me. Because, you know, at quarterback, I wanted to kind of go with the matchup with Tua Tagovailoa, but I just don't trust Tua. I'm going to go with Jalen Waddle against the Commanders because I think even the worst of quarterbacks, and even if you struggle against a bad matchup, one receiver can really eat. And Jalen Waddle is the guy in Miami right now. Mm-hmm. And I just think the Commanders, we talked about it. I mean, they're so banged up. And it has no effect, in my opinion, on the way I see Dan Quinn. I still think he's a great head coach and he's a great defensive mind, but it's gotten brutal, man.
They're struggling, yeah.
Yeah, they are. We called it with the Lions. We knew that there was some extra motivation after they went into Detroit and beat them down in the playoffs. I just think right now, Dolphins riding high off that win. Jalen Waddle's going to go off. I'm seeing like 162 yards, 9 catches, and probably 2 touchdowns. So kind of similar to Josh Jacobs. I like the 2 tutties there for Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, Jalen Waddle's been going off, Jake. He had some explosives against the Bills. I think like a 70-yard touchdown from Tua. And when I talked about Devon Achane and Waddle, those 2 are the best threats on that offense. I mean, sometimes they kind of have to make up for what Tua does, right? Tua throw an interception, and all right, Achane's like, all right, I got to go run for 80. Right? Waddle's like, okay, I got to catch this screen pass or this over route and go score. So they have to overcompensate kind of for what they have going on at quarterback. But talking about for overcompensating, I have this week as my tight end or receiver. I got David Njoku. I think he's a touchdown magnet. I know things have been a little bit slow for him. I know he's going up against the Ravens this week, but he'll be really the main chance that they have to score some touchdowns. I think. Hey, the Browns, the Jets, they're struggling this year, but hopefully David can get them on the right path. But yeah, I have him as my tight end starting this week. Like I said, it'll be a challenge with Humphreys back, with Hamilton back on that defense. But I like David Njoku to figure out this week.
I always like Njoku, so I have nothing against that. My defensive pick is going to be Will Anderson against the Titans. Conklin struggling to block, and he's or not Conklin, excuse me, Zeitler is struggling to block, and he's more of an interior guy. But it's Dan Moore to me. And I've said this so many times. I don't trust the Titans offensive line. It's been bad. And I think just lately, Will Anderson, I'm going to say this right now. I think Will Anderson has my vote for Defensive Player of the Year. He's so consistent. He's, by the way, the leader in terms of win rate for pass rushers in the league. And they have Danielle Hunter there, so that's the one reason why I might not get this one right, because Danielle Hunter could rob the scene. If he gets in there and takes like 2 sacks from Will Anderson, I guess that's a good problem to have. But I'm going to go with Will Anderson. The Texans rallied. Shout out Davis Mills for getting them back and winning that game, because it's one of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things, Cam, where you look at it now, they're 3-5, right? And their season is over effectively if they lose that game. I don't think people realize how important that win was for the Houston Texans, a team that has a Super Bowl caliber defense and just needs to get CJ Stroud back as soon as possible. If you can survive you are as dangerous as anybody if you can keep CJ Stroud protected and have that defense that is the number one scoring defense. Even still, regardless of everything that the offense has kind of sputtered this year, that defense is the number one scoring defense. Cam, they got a shot. They needed to win last week. They found a way to come back because they were dead in the water against Jacksonville. Shout out Davis Mills, man. But yeah, Will Anderson will be my top performer for defense.
Yeah. You mentioned Mills. I mean, he scored at the last minute. I think it was like a minute left in the game. He ran it in with his legs. Very impressive. Nico Collins went off that game. The running game was pretty decent finally. I think Nick Chubb had about 60 yards or so. So they're starting to figure it out. You mentioned the defense, though, Jake. Similar to like the Rams defense with those two edge guys, Jared Verse and Byron Young, the Texans have it. And even for tackles, that's a nightmare because you're like, okay, we need to slide this way to Will Anderson. Then you got Danielle Hunter on the other side causing a whole bunch of issues. So D'Amico Ryans, the head coach there at the Texans, doing a good job of getting that defense clicking on all cylinders. Jake, on my end for the defensive player, top performer this week, I'm going to go Budda Baker. He's always someone that's during the trade deadline, he's always up for trade. They're like, oh, are they going to get rid of him or are they not? And I think at this point, he's a staple in that Arizona Cardinals defense, that team in general, just that city. He's there to stay, and he has the 49ers coming up. So this is a divisional matchup. The 49ers got smoked by the Rams, so maybe the Cardinals can find some sort of chink in the armor, as you will, to get a dub over the 49ers. But I think Budda Baker coming off that Week 10 matchup, my man had 9 tackles, a sack, and 2 tackles for loss. And having a safety coming up and blitzing and causing some havoc in the backfield, setting up a tent, that's just an issue, right, overall. And so the 49ers have Kittle, so he might be busy guarding Kittle, and then they have Christian McCaffrey coming out of the backfield. But if they can get Budda Baker in that backfield, they'll find some success.
Yeah, and if Brock Purdy is back, by the way, I think he's going to go off against Brock Purdy. I don't trust his decision making. I like Mac Jones so much more than Purdy right now. I think that'll be a colossal mistake. We'll get into that. But now it is time for the primetime games, and we got starting off. This one should not be pretty, right? We got the Patriots. I believe they're wearing their cool uniforms for rivalries. I thought they were the best of the bunch, the baby blue looking ones.
Yeah,
they are coming in at 8-2. Man, that pick, the sleeper pick that I made of the Patriots. Thank you, Drake May. You guys are making me look very smart. Yeah. New England 8-2 is taking on the Jets at 2-7. Jets are a weird team. Thought that they were going to get absolutely mollywopped by the Browns. And they should have on paper, but they found a way to win.
Finally.
It's Thursday night. It's a division matchup. This just feels like a weird game. I'm still going to take the Patriots by 10 in this one, 27-17. Don't be surprised if it has to come down to the wire because right now you can actually move the ball on New England. I've noticed that. And you can also pass rush New England. And like lately, Will Campbell's really struggling at tackle. They got some guys. I mean, they didn't trade away everybody. They didn't trade away Will McDonald. They didn't trade away Jermaine Johnson. Jets pass rush could keep this thing very interesting, but I'm going to stick with New England 27-17.
Yeah, Jake, I'm going to up that one. I'm going to go New England 34 to the Jets 14. Ooh. I know the Jets found a way to win, but the Patriots, I think you talked about it last week, Jake, if they can beat a tough team, that they might be for real. They beat the Buccaneers in Tampa, which was amazing to see. Jake, TreVeyon Henderson ran his ass off, 14 rushes for 147 yards with 2 touchdowns. And both of those touchdowns were like 60-yard runs. So him and Devon Achane had a similar week where they were untouched. The offensive line was blocking really well. And Jahmyr Gibbs, those were my top 3 running backs last week. They were untouched, running scot-free, and they were a problem. And I think that he's going to build off of that momentum. And we talk about Ramondre Stevens. I mean, where is he at? He
just got ruled out again.
Ruled out. Yeah, I mean, ruled out, bro. And
we know what that means.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be available, right? That's the best way to make the club. You can't make the club in the cold tub, my guy. So
I love when you say that.
yeah. TreVeyon, he's balling out. And it's just funny that this team is finally starting to click. Of course, you got like the Taylor Swift and the Travis Kelce stuff. And then now, you got the Stephon Diggs, and you got the Cardi B thing. And so he's finding his rhythm again. I mean, it's the whole pomp and circumstance, but he's starting to find his groove, Jake. He's starting to crush it. I got him on my fantasy football team, so I'm rooting for the guy. But I like the Pats tearing up the Jets. Even though they got to win, finally, it's good for football. But I got the Pats blowing them out.
Hey, Cam, never wrong, just early, and that's what. That's where I was on Travion Henderson. I think I picked him to be the top performer last week.
Yeah.
Wasn't wrong. I was just early.
There you go. Yeah, you had a premonition. You were like, it's going to happen. I just don't know when.
Going to happen.
It was against my Bucks. So
yeah, of course. So we move on to the Spain game.
España.
So right in Madrid, we got Washington taking on Miami. Sorry, y'all. That's not. Can you imagine? Like, the NFL is coming to our city. Oh, it's going to be Miami, who's typically going to win 8 to 9 games, and Washington, who's just in the NFC title game, and then they have a combined 6 wins.
Maybe they can see Jaden Daniels, like at like a pop up or something like that. They won't see him on the field, but they can see him somewhere else. And Terry McLaurin, it's just sad for both teams. It
is. It definitely is. I love Miami in this one. Like, I think Miami is going to control the game. I think Achane, they're not going to be able to stop. I don't think they're going to be able to stop Waddle. And I still think that Miami defense can enforce some turnovers. So give me the Dolphins 30-20. We don't have to spend too much time on it because, I mean, the Commanders are just in shit's creek right now.
Yeah, they're struggling right now. The running game with Krosky Merritt with Bill back there, he can figure out a way to make some things happen, but and Ertz as well at the tight end position. But other than that, it's Mariota. Pray for the guy. That defense, got to pray for him. But I got the Dolphins winning this one, Jake. To be honest, after that Bills whooping and that defense forcing those turnovers, I got the Dolphins winning this one 34 to the Commanders 17.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I have 30-20. I think I'm giving the Commanders too much credit, but we'll see. I like Mariota. I just don't like Mariota behind a porous offensive line. That's just, and I've been on Connerly all year long, Cam. You know that. He's been getting whooped up front. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, we move on to Sunday Night Football. Lions-Eagles. Now, I still think the Sunday Night Football game should have been Rams-Seahawks. I think they're better than both of these teams, but Lions-Eagles is a good matchup. I'm going to surprise you on this one. I'm going to take the Lions on the road in this one. And it's the reason why is I am not sold on Philly. Philly is that team. They're similar to the Chiefs. They're going to find ways to win games they shouldn't. But I think lately, since Dan Campbell took over the play calling, I think they're in the driver's seat to win this game. I'm going to go 27-24 Detroit. I think they're going to be able to run the football against Philly. And then I think the play action passing attack with Jared Goff, getting Amon-Ra St. Brown going, and Sam Laporta and all those guys, I think they are going to win this game against the Eagles. I don't know if you saw on social media, but A.J. Brown said to trade him if you own him in fantasy football. That's not what I want to see if I'm an Eagles fan from my number one receiver. And let's be honest, Devontae Smith surpassed him a little bit ago. He's just a better route runner, and I think he cares about the game of football more. I question A.J. Brown's heart, because I understand it might not be a great situation, but if you look around the league, there's a lot of not so great situations, and you don't see other guys complaining that are just as talented. So, yeah, Eagles, they'll be in this one. It'll be close. It's a tough spot, and especially we're talking mid-November. This could be a really cold game, but I'm going to do what I normally don't do, and I'm going to trust the Lions on the road against a good team to win this one 27-24.
Jake, I like it. I'm going to go an even closer game for this one. I'm going to go Lions 24 to the Eagles 23.
I like
reason 24 Eagles 22. Reason being, the Lions offense is clicking with Williams. He had a killer game last week. He had 6 for 7 for 119 yards, 1 touchdown. Jake, just his crossing routes, his stride. He just looks like a gazelle out there. He's looking fluid. He's running really well, and that's what we want to see. And then you even go to Sam Laporta. He went 5 for 5 for 53. And we go back to Jahmyr Gibbs, man. I mean, he said it looked like Alvin Kamara, bro, just looking like an absolute problem. And really like the best running back in the league right now. And we have Jonathan Taylor as well, but Jahmyr Gibbs just looks spooky. You know what I mean? I know Halloween just passed, but he's looking spooky. He's forcing missed tackles. He's doing things that we haven't really seen in a while. And so, and that offensive line is blocking their ass off. So a lot of times you highlight the running backs and the quarterbacks and the receivers. You got to shout out this offensive line because they're blocking their ass off. Brian Branch, 1.5 sacks as well on the defensive side. And then you go to the Eagles, right? I know Saquon had that 6-spin move against the Packers, but that Packers game was boring as hell. There wasn't much going on there. You talk about A.J. Brown. I know there was a pass that was thrown to him, and he looked a little bit dejected when the ball dropped in the end zone. So it just seemed like a personality thing rather than a personality and an effort thing versus skill. And so it seemed like he's not really finding his fit there right now. And, hey, he went from the Titans, a worse situation, to the Eagles. And so he might have to get traded again and go ahead and send his ass to the Saints, you know what I mean, and see if they can revive them. I know I keep talking about the Saints. You know, I think when the Saints are good, football's good, but it just sucks to see him pouting when they just won the chip last year and they could possibly go back this year. But I got the Lions winning this one as well.
Yeah, you're not going to get sympathy from many people when you just won the Super Bowl and you're like, oh, it's not fair. Throw me the football.
Shut your ass up. No one can.
Shut your ass up. Yeah. Oh, man. Anyway, we move on to a train wreck of a game. Cowboys, Raiders. Somehow this is in prime time. It can't be flexed. I did find out the rules on this until week 12. So they wouldn't flex it anyway because they're obsessed with ratings, and Cowboys fans and Raiders fans, it's a big fan base. They would definitely watch the game. Cowboys are going to win this one 30-23. I expect it to be close. I think Max Crosby is going to do his best to kind of, I guess, audition in front of a potential next year's team. Because Jerry has mentioned that he likes him a lot. I don't know how that's not tampering, but that's neither here nor there. But I think kind of in the get-right game territory here, Cam, I think they're going to get right here, the Cowboys offense. I mean, you got Pickens, you got Lamb, you got Javonte, obviously Dak. I mean, the defense, you added those two pieces. If you don't win this game, I don't even want to know what is going to come out of it the next day because it's not going to be pretty. The media is going to rip the Cowboys to shreds. So give me the Cowboys 30-23. Can't say I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. You did say at the top of the show, or just the top of this segment, it's the fan bases, right? At the end of the day, it's the Raiders and the freaking Cowboys. Everyone in the country is going to be watching, unfortunately, or not everyone, but most people. Their ratings are going to be pretty high, but I'm not going to be watching that one, my guy. But I'm going to be looking out for Dak Prescott. Like I said, he's on my fantasy football team. And then Brandon Aubrey as well. I got some Cowboys on my squad. So I like Dak throwing for over 300 for 3+ touchdowns. Jake, I think they're gonna win this.
Oh no, what's going on over here, Cam? I think something's possessed.
Oh yeah, you got some blinking going on over there.
Yeah, I do. It's weird,
it's that mask
man.
Behind you.
it may be.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Well, Jake, you did say that there was some blinking going on. I'm not going to talk about your love life, but there was some blinking going on when you were, romancing, and that kind of gave you a sign. Hey, maybe this is our sign that we need to keep crushing here, talking about some good football. But
that's true.
Or maybe it's, hey, get off the topic of the Cowboys and move on because they're boring as hell. But yeah, I got the Cowboys winning this one, Jake, 34-17.
I got the Cowboys 30-23. We move on to the game of the week, regardless of what anyone wants to tell you, because there are some contenders here. Chiefs, Broncos would be a contender. We'll get to that. Buccaneers, Bills. There are some good games, but there's nothing like what I believe the two best teams in the NFL. The Seattle Seahawks head to Los Angeles. The Rams will be wearing the black uniform, midnight mode. And they're taking on Seattle, both 7-2, both in PFF and DVOA. They're like the same all across the board in the top 3 in most cases. It's going to be a banger. And we saw it last week. I mean, I was in San Fran Well, I was in Santa Clara. They don't play in San Fran, for those of you who don't know that. I was in Santa Clara, and I had my phone out trying to follow the Seahawks and Cardinals game, and it felt like the Rams scored, Seattle scored, the Seattle Seahawks scored, the Rams scored. It was crazy. Highest scoring teams over the last 4 games. I mean, man, what are your thoughts on this one? Because it could go either way. I do expect them to split the series this year because I think they're that good. But I'm curious, what do you have to say, Cam?
It's going to be the game of takeaways, Jake. I'm looking at Nate Landman. I'm looking at Quentin Lake. I'm looking at some of the guys on the even Jared Verse, Byron Young. I'm looking at who's going to apply pressure and take the football away. I think who's going to win this game. You look at the running game with Blake Corum and Kyron Williams, and then you go to the other side with Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. Whose running game is going to be better? What does that look like? And you go to the receivers, the Cooper Kupp get right game as well. You got the midnight black. Cooper Kupp didn't wear the midnight black, so he might be like, "What the hell's going on over there?" I kind of miss it. And so Cooper Kupp had a big game recently as well against the Cardinals. He had like a 60-yard explosive. JSN, of course, has been going off and doing his thing in that defense over in Seattle, forcing multiple turnovers, Jake, scoring on the defensive side. And so it's going to be a good battle, a good matchup. And I hope, Jake, that football looks like this moving forward, where the NFC West is stacked and the primetime games are like, it reminds you like the Legion of Boom, beast mode at Seattle, and then the Rams coming back with, Aaron Donald and Todd Gurley. It just reminds me of that type of flow when I actually entered the NFL in 2015. So I like the Rams on this one, Jake. I'm not going to lie. I think Matthew Stafford will stamp his MVP run during this game. I think that'll be, even though I'm not starting him this game, I think he'll protect the football, which is important, continue with 0 turnovers, 0 interceptions, but I think he'll be smart with it. And I think the 13 personnel, Jake, that the Rams have implemented have caused problems. I mean, they doubled their score against the 49ers. The 49ers couldn't even figure it out. They started running 13 personnel and 23 personnel after halftime. But I think the Seattle Seahawks have to figure out the Rams 13 personnel, and then it'll be a battle of turnovers. Who's gonna create the most turnovers? And then, of course, our guy Puka Nacua, and hopefully Devontae Adams is good to go in the red zone, because I know his back was hurting after that little stutter step he had. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm going to go 33-30 Rams. I think this is going to be the best game that we've seen to this point in the season. I don't expect Sam Darnold to look like he did in the playoffs, and a big reason is because he doesn't have Cam Robinson protecting his blind side. I think people forget Robinson gave up 21 pressures in the last 2 games of the year. So pretty much killed Sam Darnold's his stock going into free agency.
He said, "Get me out of here." After he left the Vikings, after that, yeah.
Oh yeah, it was brutal. But no, I mean, let's not forget Sam Darnold, Vikings. They got off to a good start last year against the Rams and SoFi. Rams made adjustments in the second half, and what I thought was really interesting about that game, and I think what they could emulate from that game was that they were fine with Justin Jefferson going off. He had 119 yards, I believe. He kept catching the football. No touchdowns. They did a nice job playing bend don't break, and the guys that did catch touchdowns were, guys like Josh Oliver. And I think that's kind of what we're looking at here. I'm expecting a fun game. I'm expecting a lot of 13 personnel and 12 personnel on their side, and I'm not expecting necessarily the big time players to catch touchdowns. They'll be getting the yards, but do not be surprised if we see like a 2 touchdown game from AJ Barner, a 2 touchdown game from Terrence Ferguson, and kind of just surprises you a little bit. I think that's kind of what we're leaning. I think the Rams are the better team by a little bit. I do think they're the best team in the league. I think Seattle's number 2. I think being at home helps. I think Stafford being better than Sam Darnold helps. Stafford is 5-0 as a Ram against the Seattle Seahawks.
Ooh.
And I mean, I just feel like Sean McVay has had McDonald's number. You go back and you look at the Ravens game in 2023 when McDonald was the defensive coordinator, and they lost that game in overtime, but that was a very high scoring game that went to overtime and was lost because of special teams. Then you go back to last year, they go to overtime again against Mike Macdonald. So Sean McVay against Mike Macdonald with starters, of course, because they almost went to overtime again because Jimmy Garoppolo in the Week 18 game. But they've gone to overtime twice against each other. The Rams prevailed against Seattle. Mike McDonald on the Ravens prevailed over the Rams. But both of those games, the Rams scored over 30 points against the McDonald defense. So I am expecting the Rams to get it done. And I think that thicker kicker, Harrison Mevis, who, by the way, I'm not sold on. I don't necessarily think he's better than Josh Carty, but I think he's going to seal the deal with a game winner and send the Rams to 8-2 and put themselves in a really good spot to win the NFC West.
I like that, Jake. And one person I didn't call out yet for the Seattle Seahawks, Rashid Shaheed. I know he's been playing special teams, but got traded from the Saints. Again, the Saints come up. But he's someone we have to look out for because the Rams don't prepare for him. We're looking for Cooper Kupp. We're looking for JSN, Arroyo, and then not Rashid Shaheed. We'll be in trouble. But I got this game, Rams winning this one, Jake, 34 to the Seattle Seahawks, 27.
All right, there we go. Very similar. You have a touchdown. I have 3 points. I'd prefer the touchdown. That'd be cooler. But I'd prefer another game like what we saw against the 49ers. Didn't have to stress that one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just saying. But we move on to another former team from Cameron Lynch. We got the Buccaneers taking on the Bills, heading out to Buffalo. And it is November 12th right now. There's a chance we could see some snow. Ooh. And if it's some lake effect snow, now we're talking. I mean, you've been in Buffalo before, I believe. I think we talked about that. I've definitely been in Buffalo. Coldest day of my ever-loving life. Absolutely insane. Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Buccaneers coming off a surprising loss. I did pick the Patriots to win. Did. I just had a feeling that the Buccaneers were going to come off the bye and they'd be a little rusty and it'd just be enough. But I give the Patriots a lot of credit because they were wearing all like the dark blue in that, that Florida sun. I don't know how the hell they were doing that.
Yeah. They were rocking and rolling. Like I mentioned, Bucks couldn't stop the run, Jake. And I think it's going to be an issue. The Bucks going against the Bills. I mean, Josh Allen can run it. I mean, number 4 back there, he can run it with Cooks can run it. And so that's going to have to be fixed by the Buccaneers. And then you go on the Bills side, they lost to the Dolphins, right? Turning the ball over. Josh Allen turning the ball. I mean, it looked pretty sloppy. So I think both teams were pretty embarrassed the past week. Not necessarily the Buccaneers, but they got to fix things. No, I will say embarrassed, right? Playing on that Buccaneers defense, allowing Travion Henderson to run for over 100 and something yards, like that's unacceptable. So I think, and even Devon Achane running on the Bills. So both defenses have been embarrassed. I think the offense is, when it comes to the Buccaneers, they got Sean Tucker back there. Syracuse got running the football, but hopefully they can get him out into space just a little bit more, right? And run the ball just a little bit better because the running game is not where I would like it. Baker Mayfield slinging the ball around the football field, which is great. And then if the Bucs can force turnovers on Josh Allen, they'll get the win. So, Jake, I'm going with the Bucs on this one. I'm not going to lie. I know it's going to be cold in Tampa. I'm headed there this week tonight, actually. It'll be probably like 84 degrees out there. And then you go up to upstate New York, and it'll probably be 10. So I think the Bucs, if they can adjust to that, whether they wear the right gear, I think we can get this win. So I'm going to go this game, Jake. Buccaneers 28, Bills 21.
It's interesting, man. I'm looking at it right now. It looks like there could be some rain, some sleet, snow showers. It looks like 17-mile-an-hour winds and a real feel of 34 degrees.
Okay.
Glad I'm not out there. Anyway, because we all know if they're predicting that on Wednesday, then that shit can go way lower when we get closer to game time. So I'm going to take the Bills in this one. I understand they got smacked, mollywopped, whatever you want to call it, against the Dolphins. Dolphins just have their number. They had their number. They honestly should have won the game in Buffalo. I do expect that the Bills are going to win this one because they started throwing the football more, Josh Allen. And you got to balance it out. I know they have a good run game, but you got to balance it out. That said, Cam, they got a good run game. And going into this game, we just saw what Travion Henderson did. What's James Cook going to do? He was one of the guys I really considered throwing in there as my player of the week, top performer. it's going to be tough to stop them. So I got 31-24. I think it'll be a close game. Buccaneers have that division in the bag, so that's good, but they're not going to have like a 1 or a 2 seed, in my opinion. I think they're a team that's probably going to be, they're going to have to do their damage from the 3 or 4, and I still think they can 100%. But yeah, unfortunately, I am going to take the Bills in this one.
Okay. Yeah, the Bills, they did beat the Chiefs the week before, beating the Dolphins. So, Jake, like you mentioned, they might just be playing to the level of their competition. So we shall see. But the Buccaneers lost to the Pats, and they're playing the Bills now. So they got to get a dub in that division at some point.
Yeah. No, it's true. Bears, Vikings. Interesting little game here. Yeah. You know, the Vikings are still kind of in this thing. I know that's kind of hard to believe for some people because it just feels like they're just there. But they went toe-to-toe with, I think, one of the best teams in the AFC right now in the Baltimore Ravens. I don't know what to think about the Vikings because I just don't really trust J.J. McCarthy. He has his moments, but if I take away the run game, can J.J. McCarthy operate the passing game without the run game? I don't think so. I don't think he's one of those guys that can carry at this point in his career.
He was the leading rusher last game too, Jake. So it's like, what run game?
Exactly. So with that said, I'm still going to take the Vikings. They're 1-3 at home. The Bears have actually had a positive record on the road. I think the Vikings are going to be too much here. I think they played a really good game against the Ravens and had a shot. And, you know, obviously it just came down to who's better, Lamar Jackson or J.J. McCarthy. But in this one, I've loved some of the things I've seen from Caleb Williams. And at the same time, there's still some things that irk me. And one thing that irks me is his decision-making when he's pressured. And I still feel like you can get 1 or 2 of those gimme balls by using Brian Flores' blitzing. And I think they're going to get that. So give me the Vikings in a real close game, 24-20 at home. I think Skull prevails, and they get back to 500 at 5-5.
Skull. Yeah. Jake, I'm going to go opposite of the Skull, Jake. I got the Bears. The Bears have been winning
7-3, do you? Okay.
That's what I'm saying. The bad news Bears, my guy. Like, I have a group chat with my friends. He's a big Bears fan. Got Eagles fans in there, and we're always talking mess about the Bears for the past 3 years. And this year, even today, I sent a text like, hey, not going to lie, the Bears are up. So I got the Bears winning this one, Jake. 24-21 against the Vikings. What I like about Caleb Williams, he threw 0 picks last week against the Giants and 0 sacks. That defensive line for the Giants is pretty decent, right? You got Burns out there, Thibodeau, Abdul Carter. You got some guys out there that can rush the passer. You talk about things like RQ. I know Caleb Williams, he's ducking in and out, like avoiding sacks, doing those things, and that does get a little annoying, but he didn't take any sacks, so that was impressive on his behalf. He had a rushing touchdown, which is really nice. He almost scored twice when he ran the ball. So Swift is running the ball really well. And then your guy, the backup running back as well, he thought it's going to be the starting running back. I can't think of his name right now, Jake, for the Bears, the running back. But
he's been showing.
Yes, he's been a guy. He's been showing up. He scored a touchdown last week. And then Roma Dunze, I think someone else jumped in the chat here. Was like, I need Roma Dunze to go off. He's been playing good football, Jake. And so I think with Caleb and then CJ Gardner-Johnson had 2 sacks and 2 TFLs last week as well. So the defense is starting to click a little bit, right? Montez Sweat had a 1.5 sack. They did play against the Giants, but what my takeaway is the Bears found a way to win close games, and I like them winning this one, Jake, against the Vikings. Even though the Vikings, they do rush a quarterback, they do get after him. The issue for me is the run game. The run game is the issue for me. I mean, you got Aaron Jones back there, and he's behind J.J. McCarthy and rushing like that's a slap to the face, dog. Full slap to the face. So unless they fix that this game, I think the Bears are going to take this one away.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't think J.J. McCarthy's done enough to have the benefit of the doubt anyway. I have this kind of feeling that this is going to be one of those, oh yeah, it's a divisional game and just, whatever. And the Vikings, they can smell it. They're almost 500. And once you get to 500, it's like, all right, now we can start turning that page over and get over 500. And then now you can start positioning yourself. And this is the time to do it. And if they don't do it, then, well, they're kind of just shit out of luck at that point. But, all right.
Jake, real quick, someone in the chat said Roma Dunze's dad approves. I don't know if that's Romadunze's dad, but if it's his play,
that's my guy, Alex.
Okay, that's actually really funny, Alex. Well done. Romadunze's been going off. We need them to keep turning it up.
No, I think it's because his dad was saying something on social media. But anyway,
that's funny.
Bengals, Steelers. This is another divisional game. The Steelers, they cannot stop the pass, which doesn't bode well against Joe Flacco. And the Bengals can't stop the run, which doesn't bode well against Jaylen Warren, another guy that I thought I might consider, but I just don't know if they're going to run enough.
He had a nice hurdle last game, though, Jake. I'm like, okay.
I like him, dude. He's a good player. He kind of reminds me a little bit. I think you said this first, but he reminds me a little bit of Kyren Williams. Kind of one of those grinder, low center of gravity guys.
Yeah. Blake
can make
type.
plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's very similar. Absolutely. So I'm going to take the Bengals 23-21. I'm going to have them sweeping the Steelers. Yeah. Okay. I don't trust Pittsburgh. They need to show it to me. There are games that they should easily win and they find a way to lose. And I just don't understand it. And I don't understand it. I understand now why Steeler fans can't get behind this team. Because it's like, what the hell? What are we missing? What is happening? And it's like, Joe Flacco with the Cincinnati Bengals has 11 touchdown passes, only 2 interceptions. Okay. He's played very well, over 1,200 yards. Aaron Rodgers has had a good year, not great year. He started off great. Now he's kind of fallen off a little bit. Jaylen Warren, I think you need to establish the run with Jaylen Warren, but DK Metcalf has been an incredible disappointment at this point. When I look at the Steelers right now, Rodgers threw 31 times against the Chargers. He threw 2 picks, okay? Only 161 yards. 203 against the Colts in the win, 35 passes. In the loss to Green Bay, a 10-point loss, he threw 36 passes, 2 touchdowns. He had 4 touchdowns against the Bengals last time, 33-31 loss. He threw 2 picks in that game, 34 passes. Rodgers has thrown over 30 passes in general in 5 straight games, and they have won only 2 of them. The Browns, and they did beat the Colts, albeit it was really because of the defense.
Yes, and that's why I think they'll win this game. That defense turns the ball over. I know we talk about the Rams defense doing really well. We got the Texans defense doing really well.
Broncos, yeah.
And Broncos, the top 3. Seahawks, throw those in there. But this Steelers defense, I mean, they'll have 5 turnovers one game. And also, too, with Aaron Rodgers, like you mentioned, he's throwing these interceptions. He knows he's not doing well. It's middle of the season. He might be retiring as well. It's him and Joe Flacco again, right? They call it the icy hot game. They beat him the first time. The second time, Jake, I think the Steelers are going to have to get their lick back. Last game, Highsmith had 2 sacks. The Steelers had a muff punt on special teams. There's, it's just like almost like week 2 or 3, they had like that muffed kickoff return in the end zone, like the team scored it. And so I'm sure that Mike Tomlin's like, hey, guys, we got to get our shit together, right? Aaron, protect the football. Jaylen Warren continue to run the football decently, because I think this is probably his best game running I think I've seen from Jaylen Warren. 70 yards rushing. He had a nice hurdle. And I think at the end of the day, that defense, TJ Watt, I mean, Jake, when's the last time we've seen him have an interception or a 2 sack game? I haven't seen it yet. And I think this might be the game that it happens. And then the special teams, if they buckle up and play good ball, they got Boswell back there kicking the ball really well. I think they'll figure it out. So I got the Steelers on the get back game this week, beating the Bengals 34-27.
I'm going to take the Bengals 23-21, and I don't feel great about it. I could see this going either way, but I'm going to say Flacco. They're down 21-16. I think Flacco throws a game-winning touchdown.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Okay, icy hot king Flacco.
Yeah, exactly. Another icy hot bowl. How do you feel about that one?
Right. Yeah. Get the Bengay out. Get the heating pad out. It's gonna be a spicy one. But no, I like Aaron Rodgers getting back, bro. I think it's gonna be hopefully a 4 touchdown game for him. We'll see.
To be fair to you, Rodgers hasn't thrown a pick at home since week 2.
There we go. Protect the football, old head. Come on, old man. And I will say Joey Porter Jr. He's stepping up on the defense side a little bit.
He is.
I think he had his hand on one football last week, so hopefully he can come away with some picks. And then Jalen Ramsey, he's been a little quiet, my guy, since the beginning of the season. So I think it's his time to shine pretty soon here.
Speaking of time to shine, the Chargers. All right, they're going to need to shine because they're going to be without their 2 starting tackles. It's not great right now. They're trying to find ways to just hang on. They're 7-3. They've done a nice job on the road. They head to Jacksonville to take on the 5-4 Jaguars, who feel like the sky is almost falling here, losing to the Rams in embarrassing fashion in London, having the bye, coming off the bye, having to come back and barely beat the Raiders, and then blowing a significant lead over a rival Texans team without CJ Stroud, and watching Davis Allen go down the field and win in the final seconds. Jacksonville needs a win. They're 3-2 at home. Chargers are 3-1 on the road. Something has to give. You have to imagine this is it for Jacksonville. They did just find out that Travis Hunter is out for the year, tore his LCL, so he does need surgery. Real unfortunate there. I hate it for him, but he'll be back next year, and hopefully he's better than ever. But that said, they did go out and they traded for Jacoby Myers, who did have a touchdown taken away on like some stupid false start or whatever. But regardless, Jacksonville, I think they're going to get the job done, Cam. I just don't trust the Chargers without Slater and Alt. I just don't. And Jacksonville now is somewhat healthier. Devin Lloyd is back.
Yeah.
They have a pass rush. I don't know, man. I'm looking at the Chargers. I'm like, the last game they dominated the Steelers, but they were at home. Okay. Then they barely beat the Titans on the road 27-20. Okay. The Titans, right? They dominate the Vikings at home 37-10. I mean, I think Carson Wentz was injured for the entire game from the get-go. They lose at home to the Colts 38-24. They barely beat the Dolphins on the road 29-27. They lose to the Giants 21-18 on the road. Do you see the pattern? The road. It's like and I don't think this is as good of a Chargers team as it was earlier in the year when it was still tough for them to win on the road. I'm going to take Jacksonville. This is their season on the line. It's going to be a close one. 24-23. Jaguars prevail.
Okay, I'm going opposite, Jake. I'm going Chargers 27, Jacksonville 21. You just mentioned that Texans game. That was brutal. I mean, to lose to a backup, that it's like, come on, fam, come on, dog. So
yeah,
Jacksonville. I'm not sure. What I will say though, Jake, is their special teams has been impressive. Washington, he had number 11, had a sick punt return. That's Teach Tate. He set it up really nice, went to the left, bounced to the right, and he pointed at the 50-yard line for the score. That was freaking sick. They forced a fumble on their kickoff team. I pay attention to their special teams because I think at the end of the day, if the teams are close, what's going to separate them is who plays better on special teams. And so I do appreciate that their special teams is crushing it. What I will say is Etienne's going to have to get going, right? He had 58 yards in the run game, which is decent passing game. The passing game for Jacksonville was minimal, though. That's why I think they're going to lose this game, Jake. And you go to the Chargers side, talk about the 2 tackles not being there, Joe Alt being out. Herbert took 5 sacks. So that's an issue, especially against Jacksonville and that defense. I think they're going to be humming. Their running game is pretty decent. Vidal running for 95 yards, given that they're starting, Marion Hampton's out. They're a lot of their running backs are out for that team, and Vidal stepped up nicely. And then Ladd McConkey, he's showing up, right? We talked about Rondé Gatson getting all the love and leading in receptions. McConkey's like, nah, dog, I'm the guy, right? 107 yards with 1 touchdown. And to be honest, it's the best game I've seen that he had this year. And then, of course, you got Keenan Allen cooking on that side. What I will say, though, Jake, Khalil Mack is back, brother. So Trevor Lawrence, good luck, my guy, because Khalil Mack, he has the rest of the season. It's pretty much halfway through the season. He has the rest of the season to get back in that sack category. He had a nice safety on Aaron Rodgers, so I think he'll do the same thing and cause a nightmare for Trevor Lawrence. So, like I mentioned, I got the the Chargers winning this one 27-21.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really close game, so that'll be fun. And then we got 2 more in the premier game window. We got the 49ers against the Cardinals. I just saw something where simulations are saying if the 49ers don't beat the Cardinals here, their chances of making the playoffs goes down to 54%. So this is significant for them. The Cardinals, it's pretty much do or die time for them. If they can't win this game, if they can't protect home field, they have no chance at making the playoffs at 3-7. Only one team as of recent has done that. Ironically, we were just talking about them, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who went on to go to the playoffs to beat the Chargers after Trevor Lawrence threw 4 or 5 interceptions. I lost count. He still found a way to come back and win that game. So Arizona taking on the 49ers. I'm going to do something a little different here, Cam. I'm going to pick both teams. And here's why. Okay? I'm not saying they're going to tie. I'm saying that if Brock Purdy plays, the Cardinals win.
Okay.
If Mac Jones plays, the 49ers win. I don't know who's going to play, so I can't make a full-on concrete decision.
Are you boycotting Brock Purdy, Jake?
I'm out on Brock Purdy entirely.
Oh, wow.
I'm out on him entirely. They should have lost to the Seahawks. He didn't play well in the other game as well. I don't like his decision-making. I think he's gotten too cocky with his arm. He had some good success. I used to defend him. As you know, I was a fan of his. I'm out on him. I really am. I think he's just kind of like, can he work in the league? Like the Jets will probably offer a 2nd-round pick and get him next year. Yeah, he could win you games, but you're never going to get an elite quarterback in Brock Purdy. That's why they shouldn't have paid him. Mac Jones, I think, is the better quarterback, is going to play within the system. I don't have to worry about him turning over the football. So for that reason, if Mac Jones plays, the 49ers win 24-14. And if Brock Purdy wins, I'm going to say, but Brock Purdy plays, I'm going to say the Cardinals win. I'll say 24-14. I think it's a 10-point swing. I genuinely think Mac Jones is that much better.
Wow. Okay. Well, this game, Jake, I got the 49ers winning this one 28 to the Cardinals 21. Marvin Harrison Jr. is coming along nicely. I think Trey is one of the better tight ends in the league. You know, you got the guy Warren from the Colts. You got Kraft from the Packers. We can keep going on, but Trey McBride is one of the best tight ends in the league. So he'll get them points. DeMarcado, he's doing his thing in the running game. But just the way they got smoked by the Seattle Seahawks, those 2 touchdowns. I know Brissett, he's a good backup, but he got smoked that game. And then you flip the coin, the 49ers got smoked. I mean, Rams came out in 13 personnel. They didn't know what the hell to do with it. And so, and also the 49ers, they ran on the football field with 12 players. I know with Fred Warner being out, right, their defense isn't as strong as they, used to be when it comes to communication. So I think the 49ers are like, look, we got to lick our wounds. Christian McCaffrey got to run the ball a little bit better. We got to get our Kendrick Bourne the ball. And then Kittle. I mean, Kittle was doing it all, brother. Diving catches, tiptoe on the sideline to score touchdowns. And so I think Kittle needs some help, and I think Christian McCaffrey's that help. And on the other side, Tatum Bethune leading that defense. I know he went down at one point, but he's going to have to be Fred Warner specifically, but he's going to have to bring that level of energy for that defense to click on all cylinders. But I got the 49ers winning this game. Even though both teams got whooped last week, the 49ers, I think, going to bounce back the quickest. And like you mentioned, if Mac Jones is starting, brother, him and Kendrick Bourne, man, that connection is dynamic. So I got them winning this game.
As long as they use him. And it sounds like Ricky Pearsall could be back, so that will help.
Like great.
Yeah, and now we got the final premier game, and we have the rest. The Chiefs take on the Broncos. This is a very fascinating game to me. I don't know where I want to go on this one. I think I'm going to say Kansas City wins this one. And here's why. I think Kansas City should be accused of playing some load management. They're that NBA team that doesn't quite turn it on because they know how to pace themselves. And they lose games because of this. And they lose surprising games because they lose games against the Jaguars because of this. This is too important. The Broncos are 5-0 at home. The Chiefs can't win on the road. They're 1-3. This is a tiebreaker opportunity. You already lost the tiebreaker to the Chargers. Like, everyone and their mother knows the Chiefs are somehow going to slide into the playoffs and they could probably win the AFC. Well, if you're going to actually do that, you can't go 5-5 here. You can't go 1-4 on the road, and you can't lose the tiebreaker to the Broncos and the Chargers, who are ahead of you in the division. So I think the Chiefs are going to prevail here. I think they're going to force Bo Nix into some turnovers, and I'm going to go with the Chiefs in a weird kind of just boring but not boring defensive fun little battle. 21-17 Chiefs win.
I like that, Jake. The reason why I got the Chiefs winning as well, 24 to the Broncos 21. I think it's going to be a closer game because the defenses are sharp. Isaiah Pacheco is in for the Chiefs. J.K. Dobbins might be out for the Broncos. That's brutal. All right, it starts with the run
Top
game.
5 rusher this year.
Top 5 rusher. I mean, I have on my fantasy squad. Now I got to get him out. I mean, what the hell is going on? So when it comes to the Chiefs, when it comes to just ball in general, you got to be able to run the ball. Versus the Bills, Cook ran the ball for 80 yards. I think Chiefs ran the ball for like 20 or 30. So that can't happen. Hunt back there, he's a good red zone threat, but I don't think he's really good that first or third down when you're in the middle of the field. So Isaiah Pacheco coming back, that energy, that Energizer Bunny he brings to the table, I think they'll figure it out. They're coming off a bye week as well, Jake, so they're feeling fresh. Like you said, they're third in the division, so they're like, hey, we got to kick somebody's ass, and the Broncos are in front of us. So I think we get a nice Travis Kelce game this week. We're gonna remember why he's the best tight end in the NFL. I know we mentioned Trey McBride, Tucker Kraft, and all these guys, but I think we'll get Travis Kelce fully today. You got Xavier Worthy. I mean, you got some guys. You got some guys out there that can really make some plays for that Chiefs offense, and I think they'll be back in full swing this week, brother. So I got the Chiefs winning by 3.
I like it. And then we got the rest of the games here. Rapid fire, Panthers, Falcons. I'm taking the Falcons 31-21. The Panthers, they had them in Carolina first, and it was like 30-3. I mean, they just dominated the Falcons in that game. Falcons want revenge. I don't think either team is that great. I think the Panthers are the better team, but I think the Falcons at home are going to split this series. I don't think the Panthers are good enough to sweep the Falcons. But so yeah, I got 31-21. I think it'll be a pretty big day for Drake London. We talked about that, but I think it'll be a pretty big day for Drake London, and Bijan Robinson kind of has to get going again. It feels like he's been quiet as of late.
A little quiet. I got the Falcons 34-27. The last time Bijan and Drake were clicking were that Bills game. So, and I think that was after getting beat by the Panthers by that many points. And then if the Falcons stop Rico Dowdle, they'll be good to go. But if Rico runs for 100+, Jake, it might be a little bit different. But I got the Falcons winning this one. If
Rico's rolling, it's a different game.
Different ball game, brother.
Texans, Titans. I just, at this point, like, I'm rooting for Cam Ward. I just don't see them winning this game. Texans are kind of fun as well. That defense, like I said, Super Bowl caliber. Give me the Texans 24-13. I was mistaken earlier. They can get to 500 with this one. They're 4-5, not 3-5. So they can get to 500. I believe they do that. They're turning this thing around. That was a huge win against the Jaguars. Just hang on one more week. We'll see if CJ Stroud comes back this week. I don't necessarily think so. But if he does, then I feel really good about this game. But even still, I think the Texans have enough to get it done.
Texans 34, Titans 10. Alec Emenyor is the best, and Tony Pollard the best thing that Cam Ward has. But it's just tough over there, the Titans. Them, the Jets, I mean, they're struggling, brother. So I got the Texans winning this one. Mills find a way to win that game big. I think the running game for the Texans is going to show up. Stingley on the defensive side, those Daniil Hunter, those and Will Anderson, they're going to show up big time in that defense as well this week.
Packers, Giants. Packers are on the road. Giants just fired their coach. We don't know if Jackson Dart's going to play. Give me the Packers in stereotypical Packers fashion. It's an ugly-ass game, 23-16. I think it's going to be probably 16-16. The Packers will do their little thing where they forget how to play football on the offensive side until the fourth quarter, and they'll get a last-second touchdown. Packers win 23-16 at MetLife Stadium.
I like it, Jake. I'm going to go Packers 24 to the Giants 14. You mentioned Jacobs being your top performer this week. I think he's going to go off as well.
I do too.
And just the Packers didn't put up enough points against the Eagles. That game was boring as hell. So I think they'll change the course this week, brother. They have to. Jordan Love's going to have to throw the ball well. Dobbs, Kraft, they're going to find their way to the end zone. So I got them winning this one.
And then last, but certainly not least, Ravens, Browns. Ravens, I'm going to take them in a blowout here, 34-10. I'm sorry, until we see Shedeur Sanders, and I'm going to plant my flag on this, I can't ever feel confident in the Browns offense. I think Shedeur Sanders is better than Dillon Gabriel. At this point, you have to wonder if the Browns just drafted Shedeur Sanders just to keep him away from playing on another team. Feels like they hate the guy because he's better. Dillon Gabriel's done nothing for me to believe that he is the right decision. They keep losing. They lost to the damn Jets. I don't know how bad it has to be. You're not going anywhere. Why don't you play the guy who can throw with anticipation, the guy who is just the better quarterback all around? I don't get it. So if Shedeur Sanders were to play, it'd be fun to watch, but I can't recommend this game to anybody with eyes until Shedeur Sanders plays for the Browns.
Yeah, I mean, hey, maybe they can just listen audibly instead of watching the game, but yeah, the Ravens by 1,000 to the Browns 10. Jake, I mean, at this point, it's halfway through the season. It's going on to week 11. Like, come on, let's see Shedeur. I mean, and that's the other thing too, right? There's a lot of people in the front office who pick Dillon Gabriel, and they want to be right about Dillon Gabriel. And so they're trying to figure out, hey, does he turn this thing around? But I don't see it. You already traded away Joe Flacco, put in Shedeur, save the season if you can at some point, but it won't be this week against the Ravens because the defense is clicking. Lamar Jackson's back. Derrick Henry is running the ball like a madman. So he had two nice stiff arms as well last week. So I got him stiff arming the hell out of that Browns defense. And then also David Njoku, I have him a top performer this week. So hopefully he can score those 7 points for the Browns.
For those of you who don't know, Dillon Gabriel still doesn't have 900 passing yards. He's started 7 games now.
Brutal.
I mean, he only has 2 interceptions and 7 touchdowns. Yeah, you know why? Because his average is 5 yards per pass. He's just dinking and dunking. I mean, come on.
Yeah, turn the TV off, brother. He's playing it safe. We need
turn the TV off. Turn the TV off.
Get him, Jake. Get him.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, Browns fans deserve better. I mean, Harold Fan Jr. is leading the charge. You could say that in the receiving game, 396. Hey, why isn't Jerry Jeudy complaining the way AJ Brown is? He hasn't won a Super Bowl. He got sent to the damn Browns, and he went from Joe Flacco, who actually throws the football, to now he's got 335 yards in 9 games, my guy. He has 28 receptions. Jerry Jeudy has one game, over 70 yards. His games before this week against the Jets, where he had 12 targets, 0, 17, 43, 15, 48, 17, 51, 66. Now that is a guy that should be throwing fits, not Super Bowl winning wide receiver A.J. Brown. All right. Well, anyway.
Well, Jake, he did go to Alabama, Jake. He did go to Alabama. He won some national championships. He got first round overall, and then A.J. went to Ole Miss. So I see why there's issues, right? There's a foundational issue there. A.J. hasn't really won like that. One has. So, hey.
Right off a Super Bowl, Cam. I don't know what we're doing. But anyway. Yeah. Oh, pray for Browns fans, man. Hopefully they get to see some Shedeur Sanders. I have a feeling the moment he starts playing, people are going to be like, where did that come from? It's like his tape.
Come on, dog. Yeah,
yeah. Like, anyway.
Browns, Jets, and Titans. Got to pray for those 3 groups there.
Yeah. For the love of God. Anyway, Colts Saints are on a bye, so if you're a fan of one of those teams and you're finding out the news now, my condolences. Enjoy the weekend. Or maybe, I guess if you're a Saints fan, maybe it's for the best, although they're coming off a nice win, so give them credit.
And Jonathan Taylor ran for 200-something yards, so hey, he deserves some leg rest.
Offensive player of the year, no matter what. He's not going to win MVP because running backs don't have a chance, but offensive player of the year for sure. 3 touchdowns a game, it feels like. So, man, and he's carrying right now.
Group. He 40 points last week, brother. Went off.
Hey, so that's going to do it for us. We hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to smash that like button. Also, be sure to subscribe. Tell somebody about Off the Edge, your new favorite NFL show. Yeah, tell anybody you know that likes the NFL to tune in, even if they don't like the NFL. I'm sure they'll like some parts of the show. But that's going to do it for us. Be sure to follow me at JK Bogan. Follow Cam at Cameron Lynch, and Cameron Lynch 50, and we will see you guys next week when we talk about Week 12. We're flying through the season. Later, folks.
Peace.